Toronto City Councillors Brad Bradford and John Burnside are putting forward a motion to speed up construction on the Gardiner. And for a closer look at this, we're now joined live by Councillor Brad Bradford, who is at City Hall. Thanks so much for making time for us. I know it's been a busy week. Look, a lot of people are passionate about this. Just before we threw to break, we showed our viewers a live shot of the Gardiner right now. It's a pretty painful drive these days. Tell me more about your motion and your expectations.
The experience on the Gardiner right now is an absolute horror show. It's choking our economy, it's killing our small business, and it is ruining quality of life for residents here in Toronto. The idea that the administration thinks this type of catastrophic delay is acceptable for 3 years is not on. So the motion that I'm presenting today are a number of key steps to speed up the construction, minimize the impact, and get Torontonians moving again faster.
The pictures really tell the story. It feels like you're in a parking lot some days. It's certainly a brutal drive this hour as well. What do you say to your colleagues? We just heard from Councillor Chris Moyes, who says he doesn't really think your motion is going to help solve the problem. He says work is already being done 24/7 and that he doesn't think this motion goes far enough. How do you respond?
Well, city staff will tell you work is not being done 24/7, and that image right there is a classic example. You got a bunch of pylons around an empty lane. Maybe there's some construction equipment being stored there, but nothing's actually happening, and the delays are catastrophic. You know, for my council colleagues that don't feel the urgency of this type of motion, they are obviously not listening. I know the mayor has indicated that there is more work being done. Well, it's about time, because it's been 7 weeks of this type of congestion, and again, it is choking our economy, killing our small business, and really ruining quality of life for Torontonians. I'm glad that they are moving this forward, and if my role in bringing this motion forward helps start the conversation, that's important. And at the end of the day, we need to be exploring items like 24/7 construction, assembly of some of the infrastructure off-site and delivery, and finally having a coordinated approach to all of the parallel streets in the downtown that are equally congested and tied up with construction. You're dealing with major construction projects on Lakeshore, on Gardiner, on King Street, Richmond, Adelaide, Queen, and that's why it's at such a breaking point right now, because there are no alternative routes for people to use. So they are in the unfortunate position of being stuck in traffic, and it's not a minor delay. People's commutes have doubled over the past 7 weeks. So, you know, it's time for the mayor and City Hall to get serious about congestion, take some action, and my motion today is intended to be a catalyst for that. Let's go 24/7 on the Gardiner and get it done faster.
What have you heard from other city councillors who are supporting this motion, and what about everyday people in the city? How have they reacted?
You know what? My wife was showing me some communication in one of the East End mom groups, and somebody was just returning back from a mat leave, and that's hard enough for anyone when you're kind of going back to work. But she now is spending 2 additional hours in traffic navigating to her place of employment and back every day. And that's the type of real world impact that this is having on people. You know, some of the downtown councillors might try and dismiss the impact on people, but like I said, it's hurting small business. It's a logistical nightmare for people, and the quality of life issue, the fact that it takes you longer to get to work at a time when we're trying to bring people back to the office. The reality that it's time away from your family at the end of the day when you're trying to get home. Those impacts are real. Downtown councillors might try to be dismissive, and certainly this hasn't been a priority for the mayor, but that changes today. We need to advance this work faster, and we need to use all the tools that are at our disposal to make that happen.
Councillor, I do want to ask you about this. The Deputy Mayor, Jennifer McKelvey, says work is already underway to look at speeding up work on the Gardiner, that a report is going to be sent to City Hall soon. What are your expectations from that? Does that give you hope?
It does. And you know, I've talked to Councillor McKelvey about this, and they're expecting a report to address some of these issues to land in front of us in July. You know, my question for the mayor was, why wasn't this done earlier? And it seems like it was this motion from Councillor Burnside and us and myself that was really a catalyst for this discussion. There's been a lot of reporting and coverage on this over the past couple of weeks, but it just felt like congestion issues in the city of Toronto were not a priority for this administration. That changes today, and I welcome that report to come back in July with a clear roadmap for 24/7 construction.
And the concerns about noise, is that a fair argument?
Well, Look, there are definitely issues that come with construction and inconvenience. I think we just have to measure the impact and the scale of that. Right now, there's 200 to 300,000 people who are losing hours on their commute every day because they're tied up in this construction mess. I don't think we have that balance right. I think this is proceeding too slowly. And when you consider the impacts on the economy and the impact on returning people to the office, getting them home to their families, and it's not just a Toronto issue. The Gardiner is a key artery for the entire region. I've heard from folks from Brampton and Hamilton and further abroad. It's an issue for them as well. So we have to recognize the impact of Toronto here in the regional context. That has to be balanced with some of the impacts that will be associated with construction locally. But at the end of the day, we cannot afford to sit on our hands for 3 years and let this just meander forward. The consequences are too great. They're unacceptable, and I'm not going to stand for it, which is why we're taking action at council today to speed this thing up.
Okay, Councillor Brad Bradford, thanks for making time, and keep us posted as to what happens to your motion.
We will let you know. Thanks, Lena.
Thank you.